set of rules and protocol. If you're here to address the board this evening and you didn't sign up on this handy dandy sheet, just let me know right now and I'll add your name here. Is there anybody here that knows to sign up that wanted to address the board? I don't see nobody rushing to let me know that. Before we actually start going down this list, I have some guidelines that I'd like to share. At this time, the board will hear comments from the public. We ask that each speaker who has signed up to address the board state their name and address for the record. We would also ask that speakers refrain from using this forum to criticize or complain about a specific employee by name. The board is interested in your comments and will listen carefully, but is not obligated to respond to or debate issues in this forum. Should you desire a written response to a specific question, you may request it. This evening, based upon our agenda and the number of speakers, we're going to allocate a maximum of 5 minutes per presenter, or looks like I have teams of presenters perhaps here. Now, again, I think it's a tandem that has signed up to address the board. It's Cindy Gomez and William Kirshner.
Hello, my name is Cindy Gomez. My address is 1517 4th Avenue in Moorhead. I'm a Moorhead resident, as is my daughter. She is attending Fargo South. She got a special waiver to do that because she's a special needs child. She's autistic, and so for her it's very difficult to change her whole life and transition from one school to the next. And since we just moved there during her senior year, we thought it would be the best for her to leave her at the same school for continuity of education and whatnot. Unfortunately, that has turned out to be not such a great thing for Sarah this year, mostly because of her involvement in the Laramie Project. While I commend the school district for bringing this very important subject matter to our schools and teaching these students about diverse sexuality, I think that there was maybe poor preparation in telling them how to deal with the issue or how they were going to deal with people in the public or even people in the media. The other thing that I think is a problem in this is that the school's policies on how students are to conduct themselves when they're involved in a school project and are representing the school have not been followed. These students were throwing around the word fag and lesbian as if they were putting them on their breakfast, like salt and pepper. These were parts of their speech that they use regularly around my child and around other students in the school, which creates an environment of harassment and fear for students that are gay. And that's something that I alerted the school to on the 9th, Wednesday, February 9th. I spoke actually to the superintendent of schools and asked that something be done about the fact that these students were bashing gay people on their cast page, on the page created for cast members to check their schedule, to learn about anything having to do with the play, including costuming, times that they had to postpone a rehearsal or things. Important play information needed to be checked on this page. I also alerted the school to the fact that the students in the cast had invited a hate group, the Westboro Baptist Church, to our town, and that these students needed to be admonished and punished according to the school policy. The response I got from the school has been less than supportive. In fact, we were told by the principal of the school that there was nothing wrong with what the students had done. This was reported on Thursday the 10th, and by Friday the 11th, this principal had concluded his investigation and said that there was nothing wrong with what the students had done, that there was nothing wrong with the students having invited a hate group, that their behavior did not require any kind of follow-up or punishment, that the public safety, even though 20,000 people were invited to this counter-protest that was created in response to the invitation of Westboro Baptist, that the public safety was not something that the school would address, that they would not advise the police that there was a hoax involved. That is why we had to go public. my child was put into the untenable situation of not only coming out as bisexual to the whole town because of the inaction of the administration in the school, but also to alert the public of the safety issue that was created by these cast members inviting a hate group to our town. Unfortunately, having notified the school of this was only the beginning of our problems. The student, my child was then accosted by the director of the play, as well as one of her teachers, her special needs teacher, a person assigned to care for her as an autistic child. This person went and sought my child out on her time off, on her period off to just hang out in the library, and threatened that if she did not shut up about what was going on in the school, that they would have to cancel the play. And when she was confronted about this in the office, she said that she was told to do it by the director. Subsequently, we have learned from different sources in the school, people close to the cast members, that it was the director of the play that actually put the students up to doing this. My child has also notified me that this director had previously stated in her two different, razzmatazz and confetti, to these two different skits that she was involved with, that the same director said that the students had to be very careful about doing skits about other students in the school because she was currently in litigation over this, and that they had to be very careful about how they handled this. So I know that the school was aware of the fact that this particular director has caused problems in the school and has put students in danger. And what is appalling to me is that when I've reported this to the school, there's been no action, not against the teachers, not against the students that I've been able to see, and not even to protect my child in the days that she was trying to do her play, to finish the play. So now we're left in a situation where my child has been basically exiled from the school. I would like for the school board to be aware of all of these things. I've made copies of all of the materials that I'm discussing with you today available to you as they were made available to the press and the press reports that came out of this. We are not happy to be standing before you. We're not happy to be bringing this issue to your attention, mostly because my child's safety is now in a much more danger than it would have been if the school had acted upon the complaints that we made originally. She's lost her senior year. She's lost her ability to go to prom. She's lost her ability to feel safe in the school. And she's lost her ability to get the high quality education that an honor student, that has been an honor student every semester she's been in that school, deserves. And I'm sorry to say that I don't feel that people, even people in this room, which I'm not allowed to mention according to you, made me feel very unwelcome and unsafe during the very last show of this play because of their refusal to act to stop harassment of my child. I would like to know from the school board if they're willing to do anything to make sure that my child gets a good education, that she can finish out her school year, even in whatever capacity she can now. She only has a half a credit left. She was taking other special classes, but she's not going to be able to take them now. I realize that. But I want the school to accommodate her as best as they can now so that she can at least finish out the school. I'd like to know that the school takes this seriously. That the PR people for the school stop calling this a harmless prank when the students and the cast members in the cast were high-fiving each other and woo-hooing and saying, ha ha, won't it be effing funny when these people don't even show up and all of these other people do? We were all the butts of a joke for these kids. And it seems that your own staff people at the school were giving them the idea that the gay people in this community should thank them for inviting a hate group to town. And that to me is appalling. And I would hope that somebody would make sure that this threat to students in the school is taken out in the future. I know that my daughter, if she was standing here today, she would ask that you make sure that the policies that you did not enforce in her case and that the policies that you did not use to keep her safe will be used in the future to keep other students safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. The next person signed up is Joshua
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Boucher. I represent the Pride Collective and Community Center. For those of you unfamiliar with who the Pride Collective is, we've been around in the community for around 11 years now, and we serve the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. The issue that Ms. Gomez just spoke about definitely rings close to the hearts of many people on our board. We're an all-volunteer board, so we don't have staff available to work on a lot of these issues until things like this come up. So I guess what I'd like to do first is I'll hand out, I only have 10 copies of this. This was our press release, our public statement that we issued after some of the facts have come out in the media. Most of the information that we have obtained has been through the family and through Sarah. And we know just based on FERPA laws, we're not able to contact the school. So we don't, any messaging that we've received from the school or the school district has been through the media. Our concern primarily revolves around the fact that the school district has its policies, and we look forward to hopefully those being enforced. But our greater concern is the treatment of LGBT students and people in our community from a bigger picture. And so knowing that Fargo is the first district in North Dakota to have sexual orientation as a protected class within your harassment and bullying policy is definitely commendable, and we appreciate that. We appreciate the fact that Dr. Baresh has been at the table when we brought in people from across the country to talk about bullying as it impacts LGBT youth. So we appreciate that and want to continue that partnership. What our hope is that this unfortunate incident and however it ends up panning out, that it can be a lesson learned, that we can continue to try to be proactive in our schools for so many young people. The first thing that many of us on our within the board talked about when we had found out that the school had known for about 5 days prior to public release of this information that the school could have messaged around and told people that this event was actually not happening, was the fear that some young adult in our community would do something drastic because of the fear associated with Westboro Baptist Church and other groups like that. And so it would have certainly been unfortunate in our community if some young person had decided that they would harm themselves, harm someone else, or at the worst take their own life, as we've seen throughout the United States, which has brought much attention around anti-harassing and anti-bullying laws and what we're currently talking about out in Bismarck right now. So we ask that the school board hold their personnel accountable, hold their students accountable to the policies that you have there. You have the policies, and we respect that and certainly appreciate that. And we want to be known as a resource in the community so that we can work with your faculty, with your administrators, your students, and your parents, and continue to bring in resources to benefit the work that you're doing. But we really certainly ask that you take this seriously, as it has gone into the public venue. And I think had it been handled differently by school administrators, it definitely wouldn't have had to be as public as it became, because the community wouldn't have rallied around and supported this play and the young people that were presenting it the way that they did because of the fear associated with the group that wasn't even coming, and the school was well aware of that. So that was, we wanted to come in and talk about that as well as share a public statement with you all. I'm certainly open to any questions that folks may have.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.